Hello, Bible readers. According to the dove on far-off terebinths, what a superscription on Psalm 56. A terebinth tree was a beautiful, desirable tree in the ancient Near East, still in the modern Near East too. A dove sitting there would be peace amidst danger, as we see, because the next part of the superscription is when the Philistines seized him in Gath. Maybe you don't know off the top of your head. I know I didn't. This was a reference to 2 Samuel chapter 21, verses 10 to 15, where David is put at risk by being among his enemies, especially their king Achish of Gath. You don't see a lot of people naming their kids Achish anymore, God's people and their neighbors, as much as they don't get along now, didn't get along then. Imagine Israel's king or prime minister now being in the hands of Hamas or some other enemy. Well, that's a little bit how it felt to have David with the Philistine king. And so it is a context like that the psalmist wants us to think about as we read Psalm 56. Another lament psalm with a complaint at the beginning, another one at the end, and a petition too, as can be expected. All day long foes oppress me. All day long they seek to injure my cause. All their thoughts are against me for evil. They stir up strife, they lurk, they watch my steps. Those are the complaints, right? The petition is, be gracious to me and repay them for their crime. Each of these familiar components of a lament psalm are joined by another expected piece, words of trust. These are all the pieces that are typically in these things, right? O Most High God, when I am afraid, I put my trust in you. In God, whose words I praise, in God I trust, I am not afraid. Notice, in verse 2, the psalmist says, when I am afraid, and then trust. He says words of trust. God. And then the line, I am not afraid. So it's like when I am afraid, God trust, is changed into I am not afraid. Later again in verse 11, the psalmist says, I am not afraid. So my Brigham and Bellinger commentary suggests that Psalm 56 is in part a psalm about how God transforms our fear into fearlessness. And in an effort to get at how God does this, we've got this amazing phrase, you have kept count of my tossings, put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your record? The idea that God would be so attentive to little old me, that God would keep track of how sad I am and actually treasure my own tears because he cares so much. That's a beautiful idea. That God preserves all the pain and suffering so that I can be free to move beyond my pains and sufferings. That's a pretty great idea. As Brueggemann says, the only faithful response to such unburdening is such gratitude. To know God is for me. And because of that, a new life begins. Gratitude. So Psalm 56 is a triumphant one where trust overrides fear and grief and arrives at newness. New life. I am one with my God is with us, all of us at all times and in all places.